Okay, so today we're going to talk about constructive and destructive forces. And our focus question is, how do constructive and destructive forces shape and reshape the Earth's surface? So let's start with talking about what are constructive forces. These are processes that build up the Earth. So when we deposit soil or silt in a river, or when volcanoes that deposit lava flows for new land to be formed in the form of igneous rock. So like I said, volcanoes, if it has lava coming out of it and it flows, once it cools, it creates igneous rock, and that adds to the Earth's crust. So this is a constructive force because it builds up. Depositing sand. So sand, silt, and soil is moved by water and deposits in another area, adding land to that area. So we have this type of land bridge going from one island to another as water had flowed and deposited sand in this area. Destructive forces. These are the processes that break down the Earth, and this can happen through violent action through volcanoes, which is a little bit different than we had talked about with just the lava adding rock, and through earthquakes. This can also happen with a steady flow of a river that erodes at the banks. So you'll notice right here we have a lot of erosion going on. This is one example of a destructive force. Another example would be here where we have actual particles of rock being broken off and being carried somewhere else, and this is causing pieces of the land to be gone or erode away, which would be considered destructive because we're losing land. Anytime that we're losing land, it's considered a destructive force. When we're adding to it, it's a constructive force. So you also see in this earthquake picture of this fault line, we do have some separation of the plates right here. And then any type of very violent volcano can also be considered a destructive force. But at the same time, it can also add land by creating lava flow. So volcanoes are those one thing that kind of goes on both sides depending upon the type and how powerful the volcano is. Go ahead and move on to your packet for today. You're going to be using the internet to research about constructive and destructive forces. So take your time and go ahead and do some research and see if you can answer all the questions with the constructive and do the mini project with the destructive.